Hey, good morning, everyone, and thanks for waking up with me. I just don't even know where to begin today. My mind is just on fire. It's been such an incredible weekend, and I'm at a loss for words almost because there's just so much to say. There's too much to say in one clip in one day. So this is probably going to turn into several things. So yesterday I left you with the thought of, is it possible that we might see the end of racism in our lifetime, in my lifetime? And I'm up there a little bit. I may have less time than you, who knows? But is it possible? Now, before I get any more aggravated responses to that, let's be clear about that. I don't mean it'll be gone. It won't be gone from us, because unfortunately we as human beings, we're very tribal, and maybe that's fortunate at the same time, but we are very tribal. And there's several examples that we could get into about that would prove my point, and maybe we'll make that a topic at one point. But racism of some sort has been around for centuries. I don't see it fully disappearing from our life, but I'm hopeful that a level of acceptance is coming, that there's a change in the air, that just like homophobia in the United States seems to have greatly reduced by the fact that we now have open gay marriage. And it's not the same thing. I don't mean it that way, but social acceptance of things is a similar subject. I see more interracial couples now than I recall ever seeing before. And maybe it's because in the last several years, well, let's face it, most of my life I've had a tendency to date a variety of other races, and certainly the last 5 or 6 years is just, I guess, longer than that. My ex-wife was Latina. I met her in 2006, so it's been a while, and it's, like I said, I'm at a loss for words. Let me stop and tell you why, real fast. So, like I said, it's been an incredible weekend. I had a conversation with my mother yesterday that was a whole new conversation, that like nothing she and I have ever had. And she said so many things that I just really want to unpack, that it was a great conversation. My mother was pretty devoted to not having a computer, was not going to go there. My stepfather, who passed away last year, they were together for 50 years, he absolutely forbid a computer within their house. It was just not going to happen. She was okay with that. Although when he passed, I thought she was going to change, and she didn't. She made it clear to me when she was out for a visit a couple months ago that nope, no intentions of doing that. And then yesterday announced to me that she's decided to get onto the internet finally and take a look around, because it seems it's the only way to keep track of anybody. And that's staggering to me. It's her in her own way waking up to life around her and realizing it's passing her by. So I stepped off the subject that I was on just a second ago because it's relevant to how her views are changing also. And she's going to be 78 this year, and it's never too late. It's never too late to open our minds to things that are around us and realize where our world is going, our country, our nation, our own communities. She lives in a very small town back in the Midwest, and things are changing there. There's always been change. It's just been a matter of acceptance by all of us. And a lot of people don't like change. And I get that in a way, because it takes us outside of our comfort zone. It takes us beyond that. But why do we have racism? What's the point? What's the purpose of that? Why do we insist on judging somebody strictly by the shade of their skin? And by the way, have you looked around lately? Black people aren't necessarily black. They're all sorts of shades. And Latinos are definitely not necessarily Mexican. And yet there seems to be people who think that all Latinos are from Mexico, and that's not the case. And what if they're from India? How much difference is there really in the skin tone from India to Latin America? It's very similar. Where do we get off on making judgment of somebody over the color of their skin and making decisions about what they're going to be like and what they're going to act like and what they're going to what they're going to have. So, and all too often racism is based on a color. It's not even based on a cultural difference. That in itself is like, well, wait a minute, hold on. I have a friend from Haiti. He's completely different than a woman that I know from Uganda. They both look black. They're both very, very dark skinned. What is the difference? I can't judge them culturally because they're not of the same culture. And by the way, she's been here for a number of years, and so has he. And they both have adapted the American culture in a very different way. Why are we still racist? And not only that, but if you're a minority and you're watching this, why are minorities racist? What are you mad about? Especially if you're Latino in America, you're taking over. You're winning. And why is it a competition? Why did I even say it's winning? And it's because there's a thing out there that's going on. It seems like there's some competition of who's going to be in charge and who's going to be in power. And we all want to be in power. Why can't we be empowered individually and empowered as a human race, as a country, as a community of people who stand for human rights and for the right of decency and well-being and treating people appropriately? What happened to living our lives that way, where that's what mattered? That's supposedly what matters. I have several friends who are very devoted to the Christian faith, and yet there seems to be a definite disparity about how they treat other people. That's not how your good book teaches it. And I say your good book because I have chosen to stay away from religion personally, because I find too many people are hypocritical to their beliefs. So my beliefs in themselves are not that different than yours in many ways. The difference is I do love my neighbor. And, okay, I don't love my neighbor, but I tolerate my neighbor. And I backtrack on that because I use the word love very, very guardedly, but because I think it's a little overused. But I just want you to think about that today. Why do we still have racism? Why can't we eliminate that in this lifetime? Why can't that happen? Look at somebody next to you or near you or in your life that's, and think about what they want. They just want security. They just want love. They just want to be, cared for. They just want to be respected. They just want the same things that the next person of a different color, the same color, of a different religion, of a different background, of a different point of origin. We all really want the same things. We all wear clothing of some type. Who cares what color it is? Who cares about all those things? And it's occurring to me right now as I'm saying this that I've dropped my voice a little bit, but that's because I want you to think about it. Let's wake up to the fact that we all just want to live and have a life. What's wrong with that? That's my thoughts for today. I have so much more to tell you. I don't even know how I'm going to do this anymore. I thought that I was going to make this channel about philosophy, like this conversation, and when I ran out of things to say, that we would talk about maybe diet and exercise and all these other things that I'm waking up to. I'm into cycling now. There's a marathon coming up in Los Angeles that I've signed up for, so I'm going to go down to Los Angeles to do a 100-mile marathon this summer. There's so many things that are going on this year. My getting involved with YouTube is possibly the best thing I've ever done, and time will tell, right? But thanks for waking up. Hit that subscribe button, please. Join me. Make some comments. Tell me what you think. I'm sure I'm going to get some people pushing back on my comments today. That's fine. I want this to be I want this to be a conversation. Let's make this a conversation. Let's discuss this. Let's think about this. Let's think this through. Let's rationalize this. Tell me what you are thinking, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.